warm Saturday night in 1966. Your pocket-sized transistor radio glows like a firefly, and the DJ cues up a tune about, of all things, indigestion.
Lies, lies, you're telling me the guilty truth. Little girl thought she wouldn't get caught, you see.
2 minutes later, that commercial jingle is a top 3 smash, and every garage band within earshot is convinced they're next. The mid-60s were good at this.
I'm walking all around the town, singing all the people down.
Rocketing total unknowns to dizzy chart heights and then dropping them just as fast. What follows are 15 of the wildest examples. Songs that ruled jukeboxes, then seemed to vaporize along with the artists behind them. Each track is numbered so you can keep score, and maybe add a few to your nostalgia playlist before they disappear again. Ready? Let's spin the dial. 1. Cool Jerk, The Capitals. The record hits you before the singer even opens his mouth. That pistol crack snare, the rubbernecking bass, and a cowbell courtesy of Motown's moonlighting house band, the Funk Brothers. Detroit trio The Capitals had renamed their dance, the Pimp Jerk, to something radio stations would actually play, and the gamble paid off. Number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 2 R&B in the summer of '66. But the same week the single broke, Karen Records discovered the group had no album ready and rushed them back into the studio to crank out covers. The follow UPS stiffed, the label folded, and the Capitals slid back onto the club circuit. Still, Drop the Needle Today and Cool Jerk will blow the dust off any party in 4 bars flat. Up next comes a song with an organ riff so hypnotic it scored a permanent berth at number 1, and almost carried an even cheekier title. 2. 96 Tears and the Mysterians.
Too many teardrops for one heart to be crying.
If mystery were currency, singer would be a billionaire. He told reporters he was from Mars, refused to reveal his birth name, and wanted to title the single 69 Tears, until the band's manager predicted a radio ban. Rebranded 96 Tears, the 2-chord stomper shot straight to number 1 on October 29, 1966, making the Mysterians one of the first Latino-fronted rock acts to top the US charts. The swirling Vox organ became garage rock shorthand, inspiring everyone from the Stranglers to the White Stripes. Yet every later release stalled, and the group dissolved into lawsuits, comeback gigs, and urban legend. Somewhere in Michigan, still claims the hit was beamed down from outer space. And who are we to argue? But swaggering braggadocio could turn dark fast in '66, as the next outlaw anthem proves. 3. I Fought the Law, the Bobby Fuller 4. Sonny Curtis wrote it, but Bobby Fuller made it roar. Twangy Fender guitars, hand claps, and that fatalistic hook. I Fought the Law and the Law won. The single peaked at number 9, then gained morbid weight when Fuller was found lifeless in his car 6 months later. Officially ruled a suicide, though rumors of foul play still swirl. Radio refused to drop the record. Kids loved the defiance even more. 40 years on, Rolling Stone slid it into the 500 songs that shaped rock. Punk outfits like The Clash turned it into a fist-up rallying cry, but Bobby's original still feels eerily prophetic, a hit that solved its own mystery with a shrug. Across the country, another group was writing a love letter to Boston that complained about, well, Boston. 4. Dirty Water, the Standells. Producer Ed Cobb turned a mugging near the Charles River into a mock love song, roaring, I love that dirty water, over grinding guitars. It climbed to number 11 and decades later became the victory anthem for every Red Sox and Bruins home win. Keyboardist Larry Tamblyn loved the irony right up to his passing in March 2025, a news flash that sent Boston sports bars into mourning as surely as any blown playoff. The Standells themselves were Los Angeles natives who rarely played Massachusetts before the record hit. Proof, maybe, that you don't need a hometown to own its soundtrack, just the right riff and a healthy dose of sarcasm. Meanwhile in London, a Spanish band fronted by a German singer was about to smash language barriers completely. 5. Black is Black, Los Bravos. Five Spaniards, one German lead vocalist, 0 UK passports. Yet Black is Black reached number 2 in Britain and number 4 in the States, selling over 1 million copies. Producer Ivor Raymond layered an urgent bass line beneath Mike Kogel's Gene Pitney-styled wail, and suddenly Europe had exported its first English-language rock monster. The band never cracked America again, but Spanish TV still trots this chestnut out whenever a period drama needs instant 1960s electricity. If that felt like a time warp, the next tune dives even further back, straight to the megaphone crooners of the 1920s. 6. Winchester Cathedral, the new vaudeville band.
Winchester Cathedral, you're bringing me down.
Songwriter Jeff Stevens thought he was cutting a novelty filler. Instead, his Rudy Valley-inspired lark knocked Good Vibrations off the US #1 spot and won a Grammy for Best Contemporary Recording. The problem? There was no band, just hired session players. A touring lineup had to be assembled after the single exploded, and they never bottled the magic again. Still, its kazoo and bassoon bounce feels immortal, the audio equivalent of sepia film stock flickering into psychedelic technicolor. Staying with Beatles-era echoes, here's the song that fooled radio DJs into announcing the wrong band. 7. Lies, the Knickerbockers.
You're telling me that you'll be true.
Recorded in under an hour, Lies nails the Lennon-McCartney formula so perfectly that New York stations back-announced it as a surprise Beatles single. It shot to number 20 before listeners caught on, but the group from Bergenfield, New Jersey couldn't repeat the trick. Their tight suits and mop-top moves faded with the arrival of Flower Power, leaving Lies as a fascinating artifact. Proof that imitation, when done brilliantly, can be its own kind of originality. From faux Brits to real Bay Area rebels, time for some fuzz-drenched teenage snarl. 8. Little Girl, Syndicate of Sound.
Little girl thought she wouldn't get caught, you see.
Fresh off winning a local battle of the bands, 5 San Jose teenagers dove into a tiny studio and cranked out this sneering garage anthem. It blasted up to number 8 on Billboard. Lead singer Don Baskin later joked that the group peaked before we turned legal drinking age. They toured with Paul Revere and the Raiders, but the summer of love demanded psychedelia, not 3-chord grit. By '69 the Syndicate was history, yet Little Girl still snarls out of every Decent Nuggets compilation like a punk prophecy. Before things mellow, let's chase a butterfly through bohemian coffee houses. 9. Elusive Butterfly, Bob Lind.
You might wake up some morning to the sound of something.
Inspired by a Yeats poem after an all-night writing binge, Lind's wistful folk ballad drifted to number 5 on both sides of the Atlantic. Clocking under 3 minutes, its gentle strings and questing lyric made it catnip for AM radio, yet strangely immune to follow UPS. Lind never cracked the top 30 again. Today he credits the track's longevity to leaving listeners still chasing the song after it ends. A masterclass in subtle suspense. Subtlety, however, wasn't on the menu for our next Fuzzbox freakout. 10. Psychotic Reaction, Count 5.
'Cause you're the best girl that I've ever had.
Legend says guitarist Sean Burns stole the phrase from a college psych lecture and turned it into a high-octane rave-up complete with harmonica break and twin feedback solos. The single vaulted to number 5, then inspired critic Lester Bangs's famous essay equating teenage mania with rock salvation. Count 5 split after one LP, but every garage revival, from the Cramps to Ty Segall, owes a debt to that snarling, insectoid riff. Ready for a palate cleanser? How about an instrumental born from an Alka-Seltzer commercial? 11. No matter what shape your stomach's in, the T-Bones. Dave Pell lifted the melody straight from an Alka-Seltzer jingle, hired the Wrecking Crew to play it, and released it under the studio alias The T-Bones. It hit number 3 on Billboard. Liberty Records then scrambled to assemble a live lineup because the original musicians were too busy earning session gold elsewhere. Wikipedia. Those ring-aiding guitar chords still sound like primetime TV. Proof that even jingles can conquer the pop charts when the hook is strong enough. Advertising gimmicks are one thing, lunatic laughter is another. Brace yourself. 12. They're coming to take me away. Hi A. Napoleon XIV.
Coming to take me away, ha-ha, they're coming to take me away, ho-ho, hee-hee, ha-ha, to the happy home with...
Engineer Jerry Samuels sped up his voice, added sirens, and narrated a breakdown over a military stomp. The novelty record rocketed to number 3, but was yanked from several stations amid complaints it mocked mental illness. Flip the 45 and you'd find the entire track backwards, title included, a marketing stunt as warped as the A-side. Samuels never sniffed the Hot 100 again, yet the phrase HAAA has cackled through pop culture for half a century. After that madness, how about a folk pop ode to a cat that thinks it's a dog? 13. Walkin' my cat named Dog, Norma Taniga.
I'm walking all around the town, singing all the people.
Living in a no dogs allowed New York apartment, Taniga bought a cat, named it Dog, and started strolling the block. The whimsical single bounded to number 22 US and number 3 Canada, landing her slots on American Bandstand and a tour with Gene Pitney. Although Taniga later wrote with and loved Dusty Springfield, mainstream success eluded her. Love makes the world go round, Deion Jackson.
No love makes the world go round.
Released on New Year's Eve 1965, Jackson's velvety falsetto and vibraphone glide turned regional Detroit buzz into a national number 11 pop, number 3 R&B hit by spring. Jackson never returned to the top 40, but spent decades teaching music and mentoring kids, confiding that one hit can buy you a lifetime of pianos to fall back on. Our final entry swaps falsetto for Fatherly Tears and a surprise top 10 crossover. 15. The Men in My Little Girl's Life, Mike Douglas.
The man in my little girl's life.
Daytime talk titan Mike Douglas stepped from his TV set into a recording booth and delivered this spoken word weeper, charting at number 6 in February 1966. It debuted on The Ed Sullivan Show, making audiences sob and critics sneer, then slid off playlists as quickly as it appeared.
There's a boy outside. His name is Rod. He wants to play in our backyard.
Douglas cheerfully returned to interviewing Beatles and astronauts, proving that sometimes a novelty hit is just that, an endearing detour. So there they are, 15 flashes of brilliance from 1966, each one proof that the pop universe doesn't always reward second chances. Some of these artists kept touring, others vanished into rumor, a few died under clouds that only deepened the mystique. Yet every track left fingerprints on future genres, garage, punk, power pop, even sports stadium sing-alongs. Which viral song on today's streaming charts will suffer the same fate, blasting from every phone this month, gone next summer? Drop your predictions and your favorite forgotten gems. In the comments, smash that subscribe button for Rock Inferno, and share the video with anyone who still believes there's gold hiding in the grooves of a 45. Because as 1966 taught us, greatness can come from anywhere and disappear just as fast. Thanks for listening. See you in the rewind.